You might not believe this, but there are certain ordinary foods, yes, simple foods that you might already have in your kitchen right now, that can help protect your memory, restore your brain, and even repair aging memory while you sleep. I know it sounds too simple to be true, but stay with me. I've spent over 3 decades working with seniors, and if there's one struggle that quietly breaks more hearts than almost any other, it is memory loss. Not being able to remember where you put your glasses, not recalling your neighbor's name, forgetting the date, the story you've told for years, or even the name of your own grandchild. It's more than frustrating. It's terrifying. And here's the hardest part. It usually happens gradually, one small slip, then another. A familiar street suddenly feels confusing. A conversation drifts away before you can grasp the words. A birthday forgotten, a bill misplaced, a number that just won't come back. Does any of this sound familiar? If it does, let me say this clearly. It's not your fault. Your brain is aging just like the rest of your body. The neurons that carry memories weaken, the connections slow down, and the energy your brain once had begins to fade. But that does not mean you are powerless. In fact, your brain is still alive with potential, still capable of healing, still able to respond to the right fuel, especially when given at the right time, at night while you sleep. That's the secret most people never hear. Your body does its deepest repair after sleep, and your brain is no exception. If you feed it the right foods before rest, your memory can repair overnight in ways that surprise you. Tonight, I want to share with you the foods that have been quietly supporting brain health for centuries. Not supplements, not pills with side effects, but foods for memory that work naturally with your body. When prepared the right way, they can gently nourish your neurons, protect your brain cells, and give your memory the quiet chance to repair after sleep. These foods aren't exotic or expensive. They're sitting in markets, in kitchens, and sometimes ignored because no one ever told you how powerful they really are. We will walk through 4 of the strongest brain foods, each one with unique gifts. One that strengthens your night memory, one that protects your hippocampus, another that defends your neurons from aging, and one that hydrates and soothes your brain cells so they function smoothly. But before we begin, let me take you inside the struggle. Imagine this. You're holding a photo album, staring at a picture of your younger self. You know the people in the photo matter to you. You know the smile is familiar, but the names, the details, they slip like sand through your fingers. This is the cruel reality of memory decline. It robs not just your ability to recall facts, it robs connection, independence, freedom. A patient of mine, Harold, once told me, "Doc, I feel like I'm slowly disappearing from my own life." And he wasn't being dramatic. Memory loss doesn't just take away information, it takes away confidence, joy, and identity. Now here's the hope. Your brain is not gone. Your memory is not gone. The pathways are still there, but they need nourishment, repair, and protection. And the most powerful way to begin that repair is not with another pill, but with food that's used the right way. Foods for memory are more than just calories. They're signals. Every bite sends a message to your neurons. Heal, protect, rebuild. When you choose the right foods at dinner, especially those cooked gently and paired with healthy fats, you're giving your brain the fuel it needs to repair memory after sleep. That means, while you rest, your neurons aren't just idling. They're cleaning toxins, strengthening connections, and laying down the very pathways that allow you to wake up sharper, clearer, and more confident in your own thoughts. This is why I'm passionate about teaching this, because I've seen it work. Not in theories, not in labs, but in the lives of real people. People like Ellen, who once forgot her son's birthday, but after weeks of nourishing her brain at night, began recalling details she thought were lost. People like Rosa, who wept because she could finally remember her granddaughter's phone number again. These are not miracles. They're the results of consistent, intentional care. Food may not reverse everything, but it can protect, support, and slow the decline. And, in many cases, it can give back something precious you thought was gone. So stay with me. In this series, I'm going to walk you through 4 foods for memory, each cooked in a way that makes their nutrients fully available to your brain. Together, they form a gentle formula for healing memory after sleep. By the end, I'll even show you how to combine them into one simple evening dish that feeds your brain as you rest. No complicated recipes, no expensive powders, no false promises. Just real food, cooked simply, used intentionally, to give your memory a fighting chance. And before we dive in, I want to invite you, if you care about brain health, if you want more science-backed, natural steps to support your body as you age, hit subscribe and join me here. Because your brain deserves care, your memory deserves protection, and you deserve to wake up tomorrow with more clarity than you had today. If part 1 opened your eyes to the possibility that your memory can heal after sleep, part 2 will take you deeper into the science of food as medicine for your brain. And when I say food, I mean real food, not powdered pills or synthetic capsules. Because the truth is this, your brain is made of what you eat. Every thought, every memory, every spark of creativity comes from cells built out of nutrients. And tonight, the first food I want you to focus on is often called the original brain food. It is not a fad, it is not new, and it has been quietly supporting memory for centuries. I'm talking about fatty fish, the richest natural source of omega-3 fatty acids, especially DHA. Why does this matter for memory? DHA is literally the structural fat in your brain. About 30% of the brain's dry weight is made from these omega-3 fats. Every time one neuron talks to another, every time your brain tries to recall a memory, it depends on cell membranes being flexible and strong. Without enough omega-3s, those membranes stiffen, the communication slows, and your memory begins to fade. That's why people who eat almost no fatty fish often report more brain fog, slower recall, and even trouble concentrating. But here's the miracle. When you eat fatty fish in the right way, especially in the evening before rest, those omega-3s get absorbed into your bloodstream, carried to your brain, and used to literally rebuild your memory cells while you sleep. This is how memory can improve after sleep. Not through magic, but through nutrition. Now, here's the mistake most people make. They eat fish fried in heavy oils, or breaded and overcooked. That destroys the delicate omega-3s. If you want to use fish as food for memory, it must be treated gently. Lightly baked salmon, steamed mackerel, or sardines in olive oil are perfect. These methods protect the fragile DHA molecules so they can reach your brain intact. And because omega-3s are fat-soluble, they work even better when paired with a little healthy fat. A drizzle of olive oil, a sprinkle of ground flax, or even a few slices of avocado on the side helps carry those nutrients straight into your neurons. I remember a retired teacher named Ellen. She was 74 and proud of her sharp mind. But one day she confessed, "Doctor, I used to memorize every student's name. Now I can't even remember my neighbor's name." That was painful for her. She feared she was losing herself. Instead of giving her another pill, we made one small change. Twice a week, she added a portion of baked salmon to her dinner. Nothing fancy, just lemon, herbs, and a little olive oil. Within 2 months, Ellen came back smiling. "I don't know what's happening, but I feel quicker." Words come easier. I even remembered the shopping list without writing it down. That's not a miracle pill. That's her brain finally getting the nutrients it was starving for. Think of it this way. If your brain is the hardware, memory is the software. But without the right power supply, both fail. Fatty fish provides that power supply. It is fuel for neurons, repair for aging memory, and protection against further decline. And when eaten at dinner, before bed, it works during the night. While you rest, while your eyes are closed, your brain is still awake, repairing, cleaning, storing memories. This is why food before sleep matters. It gives your brain the raw materials to do its nightly housekeeping. Eat empty calories at night, and your brain has nothing to rebuild with. Eat food for memory, and you wake up sharper. let's take a moment to understand why this is so powerful for aging brains. As we get older, inflammation creeps into every part of the body, including the brain. Inflammation damages neurons, slows connections, and blocks memory recall. Omega-3s are natural anti-inflammatories. They calm the brain, protect against swelling, and even encourage the growth of new neural connections, a process scientists call neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is what allows you to learn something new even at 70, 80, or beyond. Without it, the brain stiffens. With it, the brain stays alive and flexible. That's why people who regularly consume omega-3s not only hold on to their memories longer, but also stay curious, engaged, and capable of learning. I had another patient, Frank, age 81. He told me, "Doc, I keep walking into rooms and forgetting why I went there." That's one of the most common complaints of aging memory. We added sardines packed in olive oil to his dinner 3 nights a week. After 6 weeks, Frank said something that made me smile. "It's not perfect, but I don't feel lost in my own house anymore. I walk in and I remember what I came for." That might sound small, but when you're 81, those little victories mean freedom. So if you want your brain to heal after sleep, start here. Add fatty fish to your dinner. Treat it gently, pair it with healthy fats, and give your brain the raw materials it needs. Because memory is not gone, it is waiting to be supported. And when you choose the right foods for memory, your brain thanks you with clarity. But fatty fish is only the beginning. The next food may look tiny, but its impact on memory is huge. It targets the hippocampus, the part of your brain responsible for storing and retrieving memories, and it does so with powerful natural pigments. You've probably eaten it many times without realizing the secret power it holds. And when used correctly, especially before bed, it becomes one of the most effective foods for memory after sleep. If fish is the foundation of brain power, then blueberries are the bright sparks that light up memory pathways. Tiny, sweet, and often overlooked, blueberries are among the most powerful natural brain foods science has ever studied. Their secret lies in pigments called anthocyanins, the compounds that give blueberries their deep, dark color. These pigments don't just make them look beautiful. They actually travel through your bloodstream, cross the blood-brain barrier, and lodge themselves in the hippocampus. The hippocampus is the command center of memory. It decides what experiences you keep, what details you store, and how easily you recall them later. When the hippocampus weakens, short-term memory falters, directions confuse, conversations blur, and the joy of remembering life's details begins to slip away. But here is the hope. Blueberries nourish the hippocampus directly. They are like nature's gift to memory. Multiple studies have shown that seniors who consume blueberries regularly perform better on memory tests. Their recall sharpens, their learning ability improves, and even blood flow to critical brain regions increases. That means blueberries are not just food, they are therapy for the aging brain. The beauty of it? They are gentle, safe, and naturally sweet. But here's something most people don't know. Raw blueberries are good, yes, but when you gently cook them, like in a warm compote, lightly simmered in oats, or folded into a small evening pudding, the anthocyanins actually become more bioavailable. Cooking breaks down the skin, freeing the pigments and making them easier for your brain to absorb. And if you pair them with a bit of healthy fat, like walnuts, almonds, or flax, you double the absorption. That's the secret most people miss. I remember Rosa, a 79-year-old grandmother. She came to me with tears in her eyes. "Doctor, I forgot my wedding anniversary for the first time in 50 years. I felt like I betrayed my husband's memory." That heartbreak wasn't about a date. It was about losing herself. Instead of medication, we began with blueberries. 3 nights a week, she would have a small bowl of oats before bed, gently simmered with blueberries and sprinkled with walnuts. Nothing fancy, nothing extreme. 6 weeks later, she came to me smiling. "Doctor, I remembered my granddaughter's phone number without looking it up. I remembered the story I wanted to tell before I finished my sentence. I felt like myself again. That is the power of foods for memory when eaten consistently, especially before sleep when the brain is repairing and laying down new pathways. Think about this. While you sleep, your brain is cleaning toxins, repairing neurons, and strengthening the synapses that connect one thought to another. If you eat sugar-heavy desserts or empty calories at night, your brain has no tools to work with. But if you give it blueberries, loaded with anthocyanins and antioxidants, you give your memory the building blocks it needs to sharpen overnight. That's how you wake up clearer, sharper, more focused. Blueberries are not just delicious, they are memory repair tools delivered by nature. And here's another reason blueberries are so powerful for aging memory. They fight oxidative stress. Over time, free radicals build up in the brain, damaging cells and slowing function. This is one of the reasons seniors experience brain fog. Blueberries are antioxidants of the highest order. They neutralize free radicals, reduce inflammation, and protect neurons from damage. Less inflammation means stronger memory, less confusion, and more brain energy. When the brain isn't busy fighting damage, it can focus on storing memories, retrieving names, and keeping your mind sharp. I had another patient, James, 82 years old. He told me, "I walk into a room and I forget why I went there. It's embarrassing." We started with something simple, a warm blueberry tea made by simmering berries in water, sipped before bed. Within weeks, James noticed he wasn't wandering around his house confused anymore. "I still forget small things sometimes," he admitted, "but I feel less foggy. I feel like my brain is working again." For him, it wasn't about perfection, it was about freedom. This is what makes blueberries so special. They don't promise miracles. They promise nourishment. They promise consistency. They promise that aging memory can be supported, that brain power can be strengthened, and that clarity can be regained, one evening at a time. And when you combine blueberries with other natural brain foods, their effects multiply. Together, they form a gentle, powerful formula for brain health after sleep. So, if you're looking for foods for memory, start with this small, humble fruit. Blueberries may be tiny, but they deliver big results for the brain. They protect the hippocampus, boost recall, fight brain fog, and help your memory repair after sleep. They are nature's sweet medicine for an aging brain. And just as blueberries light up your hippocampus, the next food works deeper still. It strengthens the very mitochondria inside your brain cells, the engines that power thought, focus, and concentration. Without this fuel, the brain slows. With it, the brain shines. And that food might already be sitting quietly in your kitchen, waiting to bring energy back to your mind. If blueberries protect the hippocampus, then nuts and seeds fuel the engine of your brain. Imagine your brain cells as tiny power plants. Each one contains mitochondria, the little engines that produce the energy needed for thought, focus, and memory. When those engines run strong, your brain feels sharp and alive. When they weaken, your mind slows, brain fog sets in, and memory slips away. That's why nuts and seeds are some of the most important natural brain foods. They are packed with vitamin E, magnesium, and essential fatty acids that keep those cellular engines humming. Without them, the brain runs on empty. With them, the brain powers up. Vitamin E in particular is a star. It's a potent antioxidant that shields neurons from damage and keeps cell membranes flexible. Studies show that seniors with higher vitamin E intake have better memory performance and a lower risk of cognitive decline. Almonds, walnuts, sunflower seeds, and flax are rich in this nutrient. Every handful is like armor for your memory. Add magnesium into the mix, found abundantly in pumpkin seeds, and you have the mineral that activates enzymes your brain uses to process signals. Magnesium deficiency is one of the hidden causes of brain fog, anxiety, and poor sleep. Restoring it is like turning the lights back on in a dark room. I remember one of my patients, Margaret, age 76. She told me, "Doctor, my brain feels tired all the time. I sleep, but I don't wake up sharp. I forget why I went into the kitchen. I forget names mid-conversation. It makes me embarrassed. We started small. Every evening, she swapped her sugary dessert for a simple mix of walnuts and a spoonful of ground flax stirred into warm milk. Within weeks, Margaret said something that made me smile. It's like the fog has lifted. I still forget little things sometimes, but I feel my brain waking up again. I have more energy in my thoughts. That was her mitochondria coming back to life, powered by natural foods for memory. Walnuts deserve special mention. Their shape even looks like a brain, and perhaps nature was giving us a clue. Walnuts are rich in DHA, the same omega-3 that fatty fish provides, but in a plant-based form. They also contain polyphenols that reduce inflammation and support blood flow to the brain. Blood flow is critical. Your neurons are hungry cells, consuming 20% of your body's energy, even though the brain is only 2% of your body weight. Without steady blood flow, memory falters. Walnuts help keep that circulation strong, so oxygen and nutrients reach your neurons after sleep, fueling memory repair overnight. Seeds like flax, chia, and pumpkin also play a vital role. Flax and chia are rich in ALA, a plant omega-3 that the body can partially convert to DHA. They also provide fiber, which stabilizes blood sugar. Stable blood sugar means steady brain energy. Spikes and crashes in sugar intake lead to confusion and brain fog, especially in older adults. Pumpkin seeds, meanwhile, are loaded with zinc, another mineral tied directly to memory formation. Zinc helps neurons communicate with speed and precision. Without enough zinc, your recall slows and learning becomes harder. With it, your memory pathways fire more efficiently. I read the night before. That's not coincidence. That's hydration and antioxidants working together during after-sleep repair. Here's something important. Eating nuts and seeds before bed has a unique effect. Because they're rich in healthy fats and protein, they digest slowly, releasing energy over several hours. That means while you sleep, your brain doesn't run out of fuel. Instead, it stays nourished all night long, continuing the repair and memory consolidation process that happens during deep sleep. Remember, after sleep is when your brain locks in the day's memories. By feeding it steady fuel, you improve the quality of that repair. That's why many people who snack on nuts at night report waking up feeling sharper, with less brain fog and more mental energy. I once worked with Tom, age 80, who complained of restless nights and foggy mornings. He said, "I sleep, but I wake up feeling like I didn't rest. My memory is worse in the morning than it is at night." Instead of reaching for more pills, we added a small bowl of chia pudding made with almond milk before bed. It was light, soothing, and packed with brain nutrients. Within a month, Tom noticed he woke up calmer, clearer, and more focused. For the first time in years, he said, "I feel like my sleep is actually helping my brain, not just my body." That's the power of foods for memory when timed correctly. Think about this. Nuts and seeds don't just feed your body, they feed your thoughts. They sharpen your brain, restore aging memory, and protect against decline. Every handful is an investment in tomorrow's clarity. And when paired with other memory foods like blueberries and fish, their effects multiply. The synergy is powerful. You sleep, your brain repairs, and you wake up sharper. That is the beauty of natural brain foods. So if you want to protect your memory, keep your brain sharp, and fight brain fog after sleep, add nuts and seeds to your evening. Almonds, walnuts, flax, chia, pumpkin. Choose what you enjoy. Consistency matters more than perfection. Because every evening you give your brain the right fuel, you're one step closer to preserving the memories that matter most. And while nuts and seeds energize your brain's engines, the next food works differently. It hydrates, cools, and protects delicate brain tissue from stress. It may look humble, but it's one of the quietest yet most powerful defenders of memory, especially as you age. If nuts and seeds fuel the engines of your brain, Then hydrating vegetables act as the coolant system. Imagine a car engine running without enough water. The heat builds, the system stresses, and the machinery begins to break down. The same thing happens to your brain. Dehydration is one of the hidden enemies of memory. Even mild dehydration can cause confusion, slow thinking, brain fog, and memory slips. That's why hydrating vegetables like spinach, kale, zucchini, and cucumber are some of the most powerful foods for memory. They don't just quench thirst, they protect neurons, cool inflammation, and create the environment your brain needs to repair after sleep. Let's start with leafy greens like spinach and kale. These vegetables are packed with water, yes, but they also deliver lutein, folate, and vitamin K, all critical nutrients for brain health. Folate helps regulate homocysteine, an amino acid that, when elevated, damages neurons and accelerates memory decline. Vitamin K supports the formation of sphingolipids, the fat molecules that form brain cell membranes. Lutein, a carotenoid, accumulates in the brain and acts like natural sunscreen, shielding neurons from oxidative stress. Together, these compounds hydrate, protect, and strengthen your memory. That's why people who eat more leafy greens consistently score higher on memory tests. Their brains are literally younger, sharper, and more resilient. Now consider zucchini. Soft, mild, often treated like a filler food, but inside it holds a quiet power. Zucchini is over 90% water. That means when you eat it, you are directly hydrating your brain. But it doesn't stop there. Zucchini also provides vitamin C, a powerful antioxidant that strengthens blood vessels in the brain and protects delicate tissues from free radical damage. Vitamin C supports collagen, the structural protein that keeps your brain's tiny capillaries flexible. Without enough vitamin C, circulation slows, neurons starve, and memory falters. With it, blood flows smoothly, oxygen delivery improves, and memory repair continues through the night. I once met Tom, age 81, who struggled with chronic dry eyes, restless sleep, and brain fog every morning. He was already eating healthy, but ignored vegetables like zucchini because they seemed too plain. We added softly sautéed zucchini with olive oil to his dinner 4 nights a week. Within a month, he noticed something surprising. I don't wake up with that heavy head anymore. I feel clearer in the mornings. I can even recall the headlines. Cucumber plays a role too. It's one of the most water-rich vegetables, but also contains silica and potassium, minerals that help balance fluid levels inside and outside brain cells. Balanced fluids mean stable electrical signaling. Every memory, every thought is an electrical spark between neurons. Without stable hydration, those signals misfire. With hydration from cucumbers and zucchini, the spark stays strong. That's how memory sharpens. Here's something most people don't realize. The brain shrinks slightly during dehydration. MRI scans show that even a 2% drop in body water causes the brain to contract, leading to slower recall and difficulty focusing. Seniors are especially vulnerable because thirst signals weaken with age. By the time you feel thirsty, your brain is already under stress. That's why adding hydrating vegetables to dinner is so powerful. You don't have to force yourself to drink liters of water. You can hydrate naturally with foods for memory. Then, while you sleep, your brain stays nourished, neurons stay cushioned, and memory repair continues without interruption. I had another patient, Gloria, 78, who said, I drink water, but I still feel foggy in the mornings. We added a warm vegetable soup made with kale, zucchini, and carrots to her dinner 3 nights a week. Within weeks, Gloria said, Doctor, I don't feel lost in conversations anymore. I can follow along, and I remember what people said. My mornings are brighter. The soup wasn't medicine. It was hydration plus antioxidants feeding her brain after sleep. This is the beauty of hydrating vegetables. They're simple, accessible, and gentle. They don't overwhelm digestion, they don't spike blood sugar, and they don't add stress to the body. Instead, they quietly give your brain the environment it needs to thrive. Think of them as the soil in which your memories grow. Without water, even the strongest seeds fail. With steady hydration, even aging memory can sprout new strength. So if you want a sharp brain, less brain fog, and stronger recall, add hydrating vegetables to your evening meal. Spinach, kale, zucchini, cucumber. Rotate them, combine them, cook them lightly, and let them nourish your neurons. They don't just hydrate your body, they hydrate your thoughts. They give you clarity, focus, and memory repair after sleep. And when you combine them with fish, blueberries, nuts, and seeds, the result is a symphony of brain support, each food amplifying the other. But we are not done yet, because while hydration and antioxidants cool the brain, there is another group of foods that energize it in a different way. They increase blood flow, spark creativity, and help your brain feel young again. And they might already be sitting quietly on your spice rack, waiting to unlock their potential for memory boost and brain health.